just rode in your town. A stranger here just rode in your town. Because I'm a stranger, everybody wanna dog me around. Well, I wonder, do my good gal know why I'm here? I wonder, Lord, do my good gal know why I'm here? If she do, she just don't seem to care. Well, I'd still know, but there's nothing here I can do. Yeah, I'd still know, but there's nothing here I can do. Stand on the corner and sing them poor stranger blues. I'm going down south, I gotta wear a 99 pair of shoes. I'm going down south, I gotta wear a 99 pair of shoes. At least down there I won't have those mean old stranger blues. All right, Poor Stranger Blues, or New Stranger Blues, as it's often called. Apparently originally done by Tampa Red. That's sort of my take on a Brownie McGhee style of guitar. Like I said, I was not around to meet Sonny Terry and Brownie McGhee. I did get to meet Cephas and Wiggins and hang out with them a lot, and they were very influenced by Sonny Terry and Brownie McGhee. Very similar style of music. A lot of those licks, it's just a bunch of licks I grab from here and there. It's kind of a fun tradition. You don't see it much anymore. There's among the old blues players, there's sort of a competitive aspect to playing blues. And it goes back to when most musicians made their money playing dances and house parties. And, later on it became clubs and such, little bars and such. But for the most part, in rural areas, you would have a party at somebody's house. And the best musicians in the area, or musician usually, maybe, guitar and a fiddle player, or it could just be a blues player playing a guitar, maybe a harmonica player sitting in. They get paid a few dollars, and that was a big part of their income. They usually get free drinks and a few dollars, and they had a good time. And you're talking early 1900s, 1920s, 30s, maybe up to about 50 or 60. That was a big deal. That was it was really your heart of community life. It was, whether it was a corn shucking in the mountains or it was a house party in the city, and or a barn dance or whatever. And so the musicians were fairly competitive, and they had what was called cutting competitions, or head cutting competitions, they were sometimes called. And the guy who knew the most tricks was usually the one that could get played. So while this is a really simple song, it's really just in key of G. And you notice when I started out playing, I did a Piedmont style. All right, so that's you're just taking your little finger, you go. All right, then you just see. And that little dissonance, very common in blues. Etta Baker has had a lick that would go like this. You go. And I think to but I'm getting into another song. But anyway, so that's just, you've taken your C and you're just putting down a, I guess that's, what is that? That's E flat? Yeah, you're adding an E flat, okay? And then you're in D7, usually play the D7 right here, C position moved up, back to C7, and then walk it down. Or you can go, all right, super easy that way, right? The trick on this is that little boogie thing, and Brownie McGhee had variations on this, a lot of them, but he was, you know, he had a lot of influence from boogie and jazz musicians and such. Really interesting guy, tragic life story in his early years, but check him out if you want to. But anyway, he was a big influence on a lot of guitar players because he really got that. Well, that's a little plain, right? And it sounds more like a country boogie. So what you're going to do here is alternate your fingers. I'm just bouncing back and forth between the E and A strings, right? With an alternating upstroke on the first finger. Move it over to C, and do the same thing. Just move up a string, literally. D's too hard to bother with, just go. Alright, so the little way you can mix that up a little bit is go. So hammer on E string. So what is that? F sharp G, E F sharp G, right? So do the same on the A string to the C position. Now, that sounds good, I think. The other big trick there was this slide, okay? All you're doing is, this is a G major chord. Let's see if I can get my fingers out of the way so you see G major chord, right? So instead of just going here, we're gonna go. That's sliding on that A string from, I guess, what, A sharp, B flat to B. Sounds good when you get it in the rhythm, right? Let's see, so I guess we could get going. Everything else was just closed position chords. When I did the second break, I guess actually I go F shaped chord, moved up to a G, and I'm hitting the what is that? B flat? Yeah. Anything you want to do like that, right? Slide up to a A-shaped C chord. G7 there. Do a little pull off. One of my favorite, this is a Merle Travis chord totally right here. One I picked up from learning his music. D7 in this shape. Down to C7. So. Right? Third break I did, I should say. I used that D7 shape. Now let me make sure you can see this. Put down these two fingers here and one here, right? All right. What are my fingers on? A. Little fingers on A. First finger is on D. Ring finger, yeah, that would be my ring finger, is on, let me see, A, B, C. It's on a C. So it's D7 chord, so it's going to be C natural. A note right there. And my middle finger is sitting here on, ooh, what is that? F sharp, I guess. I'm getting a little, yeah, there we go, F sharp. Travis do that a lot. You know, good chord to learn. Real good chord to learn. Because, all right, so for that third break, I'm going to slide it up here to a G7. And that again is that A shaped, and but then it's a G major to G7, or then just C out of an F shape, and then all right. So this is the proper G chord, G major, not the G7. This one, you know, you can use that if you want to, but maybe throw that note in there just for fun. And what is that chord? Well, that's a D shape, that's a C shape, so C, D, E, F, and now it's a G, right? 3-note chord. Piece of cake. Well, I'm actually borrowing so I can get 4, but, you know, piece of cake, really. And then where to go from there? Oh, a different D7 here. And again, that's an A7 moved up to D7, right? Back to that D7. Or for a variation, you can go. That's another D7. Yes, those, yeah. So just skip the C7 on that. Either way you want to do it, you can go. Or back to G, and then this is just a little ending lick. It just kind of gives you a sense of finality of the song. Go. Let's see. So again, that's sliding up to that B. See, yeah, that's right. I think it's B anyway. Okay, so piece of cake. So anyway, you throw a lot of those little licks in there. You come up with 1,000 of your own little licks. And if you're ever sitting around with a bunch of old blues players, or you know, just having a couple beers with friends and you're picking some tunes, throw these in. While they're simple, they sound impressive. They certainly do. They just take a little getting used to. Of course, that was an influence on Carl Perkins' Matchbox Blues. What key was Matchbox Blues in? Probably E, but anyway, it could have been C actually. Yeah. Anyway. Brownie McGhee, very influential guitar player. Most people haven't heard of him these days. Very much worth looking up. His biography, his music. He overcame an incredible amount of hardship. Was a very liked and affable guy by everybody. I've never read a single negative comment about him. Just shows what, you know, talent and determination and a good attitude can do. I mean, the guy was, you know, homeless at the age of like 8 and picking up trash for a living. And one of his most famous songs is Me and My Dog. And you would think, well, it's about him and his dog. Me and my dog ain't got no friends right now. The dog was a picture hanging on the wall in the little shed he was living in, you know, as a 9-year-old kid. And he was already, living in rags on the street, and he was already writing songs that would go on to just, and developing that rhythmic style of guitar. And I said that that really was a big influence on Carl Perkins, Chuck Berry, so many people. Definitely check out Sonny Terry and Brownie McGhee. Sonny Terry, a legendary harmonica player. Some of his earliest recordings were with North Carolina's Blind Boy Fuller. Unique, one of the most unique harmonica players of all time. He did a lot of hooting and hollering while he was playing. Wonderful recordings. Totally worth checking them out. Y'all have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time. Remember, if you have any questions, email me or contact me through YouTube. That's probably the easiest way. Leave a comment on the video, and I'll get in touch with you and try to walk you through if you get stuck somewhere. So anyway, have a great one. I'll talk to you next week.